I thought I was going to upload another video sometime closer to the end of June or maybe the beginning of July. But I noticed some strange numbers. Without telling you what they are, similar things happened in March of this year and December of last year. At the time, I shrugged them off, but now they look weird. They happened again. It's very subtle, so it is unnoticeable to most people. I think somebody's trying to tell me something. I'm trying to figure out what it means. This is too specific, and I don't think just anyone can do stuff like this. So, after thinking about this for a while, I think maybe somebody wants me to upload a video now. But it looks like it's the end of June anyway. I was also given a bunch of dates. Sometime at the end of August, sometime end of November, which isn't too strange, but that date turned into a date 7 years later. That's strange. This is way too weird for it to be a simple coincidence. I'm trying to figure out if this is simply a message or a threat. I cannot make up my mind. So I feel like I need to address some of these numbers and dates because clearly, I think I'm dealing with scary people. Just because the country is known for being nice doesn't mean the country is without shadow organizations doing questionable things. I thought if I stayed clear of politics and religion, I would never get into trouble. This is just not where I ever thought I would be stuck. I'm going to guess multiple organizations are involved here. Late November could mean a few things. November is a boring month. It's 5 months from now, no meaning there. Maybe I'm reading too much into nothing. Or these guys know exactly what they're talking about and they're trying to tell me something. Maybe this is a time frame. It's a moving target maybe. And I'm a little bit off. The date is 7 years later seems more like a question than a statement. Again, that's a strange time frame. Not a lot of things happen in 7-year cycle. Or maybe it's just a question. Will you be around 7 years later? The answer is, I'm sticking around until otherwise. Or is this a threat? Whoever this is, and whatever the motive is, harassing me is not the answer. Let's not devolve down into a banana republic. Or worse, this could actually be worse. I had to contemplate the meaning of the end of August, and it finally struck me. I had been sitting on this for a few days now. I was originally disappointed, then heartbroken, but it wasn't anything I didn't already know. It means I better keep my expectations low. I know how these things usually turn out, especially for me. Many years ago, I saw a racehorse die while racing on a racetrack. It looked like he tripped. He fell down, and he did not get back up. I thought maybe he broke his ankle or something, but he died. A bunch of people came and dragged him out on a stretcher. The announcer said the horse was old. He used to run in professional horse races, but he got old. These old horses are sometimes sold off to run in these smaller horse races, or they're used to train younger horses. I guess an old, experienced horse is still better than younger, inexperienced horses. The guy sitting next to me said the horse must have been drugged. They are given some kind of performance-enhancing drugs that make their hearts run faster, which gives them that extra energy to run faster. But for an old horse like this could be fatal. The owner of the horse later came out and told the crowd that he is a responsible owner. He did not drug his horse. He loves his horses. He doesn't feel like he deserves the accusations he's receiving. The announcer wrapped up the race by saying it was a glorious death for a glorious racehorse to die on a racetrack while racing gloriously. I'm obviously exaggerating, but he said something similar. The horse had a name, one of those tacky racehorse names, but I don't remember. I don't think anyone else did. It's nobody's problem. I feel like I am that racehorse. Didn't he run every race he was told to run? He even went so far as to participate in professional races. But he got sold off when he became a liability rather than an asset. But even with the new owner, didn't he teach and lead the younger horses? He's racing even into his old age. This is not glorious at all. Just what did he get for all his trouble? But someone might ask, what a strange question to be asking. Horses are supposed to be horses. What more were you expecting? But let's think about what the horse's owner must have thought. He could have bought the other horse. What a waste of money. Now he has to go buy another horse. That is, if he still has the money to buy another horse. He must have been at his wit's end to buy an old horse to get into a race like this. I heard these are mostly farmers who train during their spare time. They buy a few horses and participate in these horse races. The goal is to get the sponsor money, not the prize. What more could you ask from these farmers? I don't know the actual story, but the owner might not have been as evil as people made him out to be. So, where do I go from here? The game probably didn't end whether I actively engage or not. I remember many years ago, I met a professor. I had only heard of him, but it just so happened that he was sitting right in front of me. So I decided to start a conversation. It almost felt like he wanted me to initiate the conversation, or maybe he was expecting a thank you. I'm not supposed to know. But I heard he had something to do with the reason why I ended up there. It's hard to approach someone for something that is supposed to be a secret that is not a secret to me. Am I supposed to keep up the appearance that I did not know, or just flatter him anyway with thank yous? Or maybe he had nothing to do with it. I'm not really sure. If the roles were reversed, I wouldn't expect anyone to acknowledge me for anything. A secret is a secret. I discovered that he was an extremely eccentric guy. One thing I remember from that conversation was that his goal in life was to cross the country on his bike with his wife. They wanted to start from the edges of the Pacific Ocean and ride all the way to the Atlantic. I once knew a guy who wanted to do the same with his used car. It was over 20 years old, and he had just bought it. He did the trip over 3 weeks. When he came back, I asked him what it was like, and he said it was the most boring 3 weeks of his life. But here's a guy who wants to bike his way across. I asked him how long this bicycle trip would take him. He said many years. He makes these really short trips between cities during the summers. He would get on the plane, land in one of these cities, bike to the next city, and then get back on the plane to go home. Next summer, he would return to the city he left last year and bike to the next city. His journey continues. He's been doing this for many years now. I asked him what he carries with him. He said he carries nothing but his credit card, his cell phone, and his bicycle. I asked him if it doesn't get too hot. He said the heat is okay. The mosquitoes are unbearable. He would come home with mosquito bites all over his legs. I asked him what the most memorable part of his bike trip was. He said nothing, with a bit of a sarcasm. He showed me a few pictures he took while on the road. He said the view is extremely boring. Just lots of cars passing by on the highway. Most of the time, there's no one else. But sometimes there are other people like him on the road. He said he just wants to do it. No other reason, just something he said he would do, so he's doing it. He had a lot of photos to prove his journey. I guess that is his prize. The conversation for some reason stayed with me. Would I ever do something like that? I wouldn't even bike across the city. Why would I bike across the continent? I'm not sure if I would even drive across. Why would I pedal across? But I like his idea of making these short trips. Don't tackle the entire problem all at once. Tackle it little by little, with the little free time you have. But over many years, you still have tackled something big. It wasn't a single trip. Nobody will praise you for it. Nobody will know you did it other than yourself. Maybe there are some photos to show to a random stranger like me who just happened to sit across from him. But I was impressed by his tenacity. Not everything in life has to be about something with a purpose. This channel can just be that. Just a little bit of this and that during free time. I'm going to stick around just to keep all the insane people away. I'm scared I will end up back in the ER if I just let this channel die. I have gotten that paranoid at this point. I have seen too many strange things lately. I remember watching a documentary about a remote tribe somewhere. They are supposedly one of the most primitive groups of people who still remain that way in the world. But it turns out they know everything. Everything. They're not as primitive as outsiders paint them to be. The chief decides to pool all their money and resources and sends the chief's son to one of the prestigious colleges away from their shores. They hoped that he would come back home with all the knowledge of the world and save the tribe. Instead, he returned home with extreme hatred for his people. The show ends with the chief grieving for his son and his people. The recommendation is the destruction of his people and their way of life. That was not the answer they were looking for. I would imagine the chief's son learned to be ashamed of his people. He realized how other people looked at his people, how other people looked at him. He figured out how to survive by being just like everybody else. Eat their food, wear their clothes, talk their languages, copy their demeanor. He even copied their worldview. The world is yours to take. When people feel weak, they pick a champion. The champion who is strong enough to walk with the strength of many men. The champion who will make the decision for everybody else instead of supposedly everybody arguing for hours. The champion who will think for all of us. Instead, that's not what happened. The rest did not get saved. The rest of us got numbered, weighed, and put into games and competitions. The amount of effort we put in does not seem proportional to the compensation at the end. This is not the original promise. We did not sacrifice our share of the bounty and energy just so that we could turn ourselves into livestock. And we all know the eventual destination for all livestock. I read somewhere that we eventually become the wind. I don't remember where I read it. It is one of those old writings by ancient philosophers. What if they meant the atmosphere of the Earth? Have you wondered why Earth is the only planet with an atmosphere capable of holding life together? Something is keeping life bound to this tiny speck of rock in this vast universe. What if the atmosphere is the energy of our ancestors? They are using their energy to keep the life energy bound together. They are still holding everything together for us. For better or for worse, for all the good and bad, they still keep that atmosphere intact so that we can live down here. And they see everything. They know everything. Even in their disappointments, they still decide that keeping everything together is better than letting it all fall apart. The wind you feel on your skin is the hope they have for you that you will eventually figure it out. Lately, I feel like they are making their stance clear. I think it is their way of saying, we are heading in the wrong direction. You cannot simply place two vertical lines between numbers and think that the universe will not notice what you did to their equation. You cannot just attempt to cross heaven by taking other people's energy and pretend the equation is balanced. May the wind under your wings bear you where the sun sails and the moon walks.